I want to be an hologram. I want to exist in the ether. I want people to like say my name 3 times in front of a mirror and then my music starts playing. Like, that's what I want. I want to be iconic. So in this thing of women in music, I don't care. Because the moment that you allow yourself to be categorized, that's all that you'll be allowed to be. And I already have to struggle with like, from Colombia, and she's gonna make us dance. And I'm like, well, I'm trying to make everybody cry. Because I'm not a little monkey, little Caribbean little trope with her little papayas on her breast. That's not me. And that's never gonna be me. So in this thing of women in music, it's important that women in music exist. But we are here and there's more of us. So I want to push it more. I want to be holograms in music, bad bitches in music, mothers in music. That's what I am. I am a mother. That's it. That's all I want to be.
That was Lido Pimienta, and this is SHEROES, a weekly podcast to amplify women, non-binary, and genderqueer voices in music across genres and generations. We do this because we believe that sharing our stories is the first step to making music better for everyone. I'm Carmel Holt. There's something super inspiring about artists who are innovators and change makers. Visionaries who recognize that the voice and the pen are powerful tools of resistance, revolution, and human emotion, and at the same time seem to possess a certain fearlessness and courage to push their own creative boundaries. They evolve and expand their craft while also holding fast to the desire to communicate the truth. And somehow, even while stretching themselves creatively, they can sound at home in whatever shape their music takes, however unexpected. I think of artists like Joni Mitchell, David Bowie, Miles Davis, and more modern-day artists like Rhiannon Giddens and, undeniably, Taylor Swift. To be one of these artist types is what my friend and photographer Norman Seif calls a boundary dweller. I would add this week's guest to that list, especially sitting in the afterglow of her latest album, La Belleza, an ode to the Caribbean sublime. It's a stunning orchestral work that brings in traditional Afro-Indigenous rhythms and the goosebump-giving voice of its composer, Lido Pimienta. Lido Pimienta grew up in Colombia and as a teenager fled the violence and turmoil of her home country and immigrated to Canada. As a born artist and from a half-Indigenous background, Lido suffered racism and bullying as a child, but she was always finding ways to bring color and creativity to her world. By her early teens, Lido was fronting a metal band, and when she immigrated to Canada, found her community in the DIY and punk scene while staying ever connected to her Colombian roots through music and used art and music to speak out on sociopolitical issues. Lido's absolutely astonishing voice and her sound evolved into a multi-layered hybrid of Afro-Latin and electronic music. And in 2017, her self-produced, self-released 2016 album La Papesa became the first Spanish-language album to receive the coveted Polaris Prize. This was followed by Miss Colombia, Lido Pimienta's critically hailed 2020 album, which was nominated for a Latin Grammy, a 2021 Grammy Award, and a Juno Award. That same year, Lido Pimienta had another first. Lido and choreographer Andrea Miller became the first all-female team to compose and choreograph a piece of music for the New York City Ballet, and Lido Pimienta became the first woman of color to do so. I spoke to Lido Pimienta from her home in Colombia about how this collaboration helped to inspire La Belleza and so much more as we welcome back Lido Pimienta as this week's Shero in the Spotlight. Oh my God, Lido, I'm so happy to see you.
I'm so happy to see you. I feel like it's been too long. Like, when are we going to have our own podcast? Like, what's happening?
You know what's weird? I was thinking that just this morning, for reals. So I think we need to make like a real plan.
Yeah, because we got to talk.
We have lots of opinions, so
Yes.
we want to talk. So the last time that I saw you was at one of the fancier places on earth, Lincoln Center.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
In New York City.
Those were the days.
That was amazing.
Yep. It was, it was the beginning of this journey of me understanding that I don't have to just stay in one lane.
Yeah.
Not that I am that kind of person that I just do the one thing, but you know, classical music is scary, right?
Yeah.
And it doesn't seem like it's on the surface, it doesn't seem like it's welcoming to people that don't come from the world of
Right.
classical music. But once I did that, which was like a very interesting residency for me in New York, I like living there for 2 months, and I just had to do it really quickly, and I had to, understand the discipline, the seriousness, the reverence, and all of these things that, at least in Afro-Colombian music, it's just more spiritual. And I think that once you understand the rules, or once you get familiar with the process of a 66 piece orchestra and like all that brings, then it becomes spiritual. So I just feel like it just took me a few shows to understand, oh. And then later I was brought in by this composer from Puerto Rico who also resides in New York. Her name is Angelica Negron, and her band in Puerto Rico is called Balloon, and they're great friends and collaborators from a long time. And she brought me into a project for one of her pieces called Arquitecta, and we performed it with the Dallas Symphony. So from the New York City Ballet and then to the Dallas Symphony, it was great because then I felt more embodied, and I felt more, okay, I got this. And I've had other orchestras that I played with, the orchestra that I played with in my album. And by that time, I just felt so at home, So now I feel, you know what, 2026, 2027 would be perfect time for me to tour fully, and do shows with orchestra. And I'm not going to feel like I don't belong. I'm not going to feel like I don't know the ins and outs, And music is music, right? And musicians are musicians. Like these ones, they just need to like wear, I don't know, all black and like a suit. But it's the same, And it's funny because some of the sections, like the bass section, like they love metal, and I love metal. And it's just so funny because now I'm understanding the memes and like the tropes of orchestras. And it's nice. It's nice because I didn't go to school for music, Like everything I know is pretty empirical, self-thought, or orally transferred in the tradition of Afro-Colombian music, So it's like a very different way of understanding music and performing music. And I'm very happy with this knowledge. And I think that I'm going to take it really far.
I have zero doubt that you will. And I feel like when we did our last interview, you were already gestating. You were already working on this. Am I remembering that right? Because I remember
you are.
Okay, because I remember you even like singing into the microphone and being like, I'm going to blow their minds when they hear me sing, like, with an orchestra, like just kind of like take the roof off. So that was 2021. So how did it take all that time? I mean, I guess you were so busy with all these other things too. Like, what was the timeline of doing La Belleza?
It's like the same thing. When I released La Papesa, I was already working on Miss Colombia. When I released Miss Colombia, I was already, unbeknownst to me at the time, that I was going to title it La Belleza. But I was already working on this orchestrated, orchestral, more heavily arranging strings and brass and woodwinds. And I didn't know what I was creating. And then that's when I got the call to work with the New York City Ballet. So for 2021, it was very much about creating this music for the ballet. And then the Lincoln Center or the New York City Ballet, they keep the music. It belongs to them for a year. So while that was in their hands, I kept writing, and I wrote other compositions, and I kept arranging specifically my voice, because it's different when you create music for a dance. You have to let the dance speak. You can't just be singing all the time. So I was just exploring the music. There was a lot of like personal turmoil happening. Like someone in my team was out of line in a lot of things that cost me a lot of money, that it brought a lot of pain and distrust. There is an ongoing legal dispute since the New York City Ballet thing. It's ongoing. I don't know when it's going to end. It's looking really dire and terrifying. So I feel like those things were all embedded into the music. And when some of the songs sound so emotional, when some of the songs sound so terrifying and dark, it's because that's exactly how I was feeling. So I feel much better now, way more hopeful. I feel like things are going to be okay, you know, but it was very hard, you know. So I needed time to learn how to embody this music. I needed time to restart and understand that I basically have to introduce myself as a new artist, you know, no management, but with the support of a great team, you know, like my booker, my label, you know, my fellow artists. So I do have this nice network of people that are helping me move on, right? And that's kind of where I'm at. That's what was going on with the music. And I have the music ready, but you know, in music, you finish the album, but then you need 3 to 6 months for it to come out. I wasn't sure about this music because of this dispute with the ex team member. It just seemed like everything was so embedded together. It just seemed so dark, you know. So when can you hear the chicken?
Yeah,
Can you
I love it.
hear? We're in Colombia, baby. But that was the thing. It's like this music has been living with me since 2020,
Wow.
right? And finally, 2025, I was able to release it, not because the New York City Ballet had, you know, the original iteration of it, but because I wasn't ready emotionally to put myself out there. Because in all of the turmoil, I kept telling myself, I need to get out of this industry because I'm not a mainstream artist. Like, I'm an artist with a capital A. I'm not an entertainer. I'm not a model. I'm not an influencer, because it seems like, you know, from the time that I started, you know, releasing music and learning as I went, again, because I'm not a classically trained or like a school musician, it seems like music has become, I don't want to, demonic is too strong of a word.
Is it though?
But it just seems like, is there a diabolic? I don't know. Like, it just seems like
Diabolical,
you
yeah.
have to sell your soul to be a popular mainstream artist. That even artists that were mainstream in the 90s and 2000s, they don't even know what, like, in my day, you needed to be talented. So it's just like a lot, you know, like it's just a lot was coming in my way, not positive, that I was like, I feel like the future for me is going to be making my artwork, my ceramics in my village and releasing my music when I want to through one platform that is not linked to, I don't know, AI surveillance, military warfare. You know what I'm saying? Like, which, if you're tied to the label relies on this platform. So it just seems like there is nothing holy anymore. And as an artist with a capital A, you know, I feel so much for, you know, the future of art and the future of music. And how do I see myself in the equation when I'm having other indie artists that are on like a cusp of like being mainstream with some single or something, and then like talking to me and being like, you're my biggest inspiration. And then like a year goes by and then they become viral on TikTok, and then they call me, and like it goes from you're my biggest inspiration to, you know, in this industry you really need to lose weight. And it's just kind of like, how do we go from I'm your biggest inspiration and you want me to teach you how to record yourself, or you want me to help you write these songs, to I don't think you're getting the vibe, girl. Like, you really need some plastic surgery or whatever. And
Wait,
it's
I'm
like,
sorry.
what does
Wait.
my
Wait, I'm
yeah,
sorry. Wait.
yeah,
Did that actually
yeah,
that actually happen? Somebody
yes,
actually said that to
yes,
you? I don't know why
yes.
I'm shocked, but I'm just like, what?
That's the thing, is like, I don't know what my physical appearance has anything to do with the music that I make. Some people need, their face card attached to the music. That's cool. That's not what I do, right? But then you're getting this new generation, or people that are a generation older than me, that
Mm,
feel like they need to follow this trend, and they need to like ride the Ozempic and ride that, which fine. I think that's good. Something happened. Okay, we're back. That's gonna happen. That might happen because in my village, sometimes we don't have energy. The water goes
right.
and the electricity goes.
Mm-hmm.
Today is a water day, but tomorrow we won't have water. So I'm like, oh, the phantom power is on, but then it'll go off and then it comes back out. But I see the wave file from now and it looks really good. I'm sorry. I'm geeking out.
It's
Boring. Boring.
no. It's not. It's not. It's good. It's good. I mean, it's also like good to be reminded, like, here we are, I'm in New York State and it's really hot and everybody's been complaining. And I'm like, right. But like, you could just any moment that you want to turn
Yeah.
on the tap and get the water. Any moment that you want, you can turn on the air
Any moment
conditioning.
that you want, you can tap on your phone and someone will deliver your food in less than 10 minutes. So,
Right.
but that's what I'm talking about. It's like it's this convenience, the convenience and like the instant hit in like the 3 minute
Yeah.
song. And now it's 2.5 minutes. It's like, oh, I don't know if oh, that's hard for me because I talk so much. I don't know if I can say what I need to say under 2 minutes. This is, although in the La Belleza, there are some songs that are very short. So I'm kind of
Yeah.
understanding how to do it in my own way, you know, because that's
Yeah.
really important to me. I decided a very long time ago, like, I'm not going to be mainstream. Like, I already know. And like the things that I believe in, it's not sexy. It's too revolutionary. So I'm already like, I already know, But what I don't need is people that tell me that they're my friends, that I'm doing it wrong, because I'm not skinny, and it's like, I've given birth 2 times. So what am I supposed to do then? Like, I'm supposed to what? Like, stop dedicating time to my art and only give the time to my physical appearance. I don't know if that is an industry I want to be a part of. And I see a lot of my friends on the other end of the spectrum who are mainstream, who are fantastic artists, who have incredible songs that no one is going to hear them because the label picks for them. Right? So that's the other side, when they want to be artists, but they are locked into these contracts where they have no creative control. So that's kind of my thing. I'm like, as I just released La Belleza, of course I'm working on other music. I'm always constantly working on music, but I am very intentionally and consciously saying, what is the future of music looking like? And I think that the future of music is looking very tribal, but actually not like a white guy with dreadlocks and a hacky sack and like a drum that they got, at some shady place. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about music that you need to listen to, or that you can only listen to, and that you don't require electricity
Yeah.
to listen to it.
Right.
Gathering around the drum, gathering around the violin, gathering around an acoustic guitar. I feel like the future of music is looking like we don't have water because it's flooded. And I think like when we're looking at places like India, Thailand, and where there's like big typhoons, and like we think it only happens over there, but it's getting closer and closer. Look at New York, baby.
I know.
I saw that subway. I was supposed to be in New York this summer, but I'm finishing all this music and I'm working for all these artists and stuff, so I had to come to Colombia. But I'm like, that would have been me in that subway. And it's like, if that doesn't wake people up, and like musicians who are hedonists, narcissists, artists, we're such egocentric narcissists. It's just like, I just want to live to write my song. We need to start really putting the floods are coming, like put it in there, baby, because that's what's happening. So I'm kind of preparing myself for that. Like I'm preparing myself for music that you don't need. Like the computer is going to be completely obsolete. And actually the people, the global majority, I don't know how to say that word. La mayoría, majority.
Yeah.
We're not the ones messing up the world. It's the 5% oligarch billionaires are messing up the world. It is very frustrating. It is very evil, So I'm just I want to make this music that doesn't require anyone to consume anything for them to hear it. I'm figuring it out, but that's kind of where I'm at right now, And I think La Belleza was big education with that, to just like, oh no, it's just your voice and an orchestra.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all you're going to do, So, okay, I'm letting the universe guide me on that one.
Yeah. I mean, it's so wild because I'm just thinking back, to that conversation that we had about it. And like, what I remember is that there was like, you're a rebel and you're like into subverting, so you're like, I'm going to infiltrate the white classical European modality of classical music and fuck with it. Like, I'm going to come in and sing and, bring in Afro-Indigenous voices that are missing. But now it's like taken on this whole new level of like addressing climate change.
Totally. I mean,
it's amazing.
And, I'm so dramatic. I'm so dramatic. I alone will disrupt. Lido Pimienta, are gonna come in and I'm gonna change this classical music. Just so dramatic. Like, it was fine. I was welcomed. I was respected. I was celebrated for my composition. Extremely validated, because as someone that doesn't come from that world, for, the conductors and, the musicians to be like, it was an honor to play your music. It was so fun to play your music at your voice.
Yeah.
When you have that, when you have like a master marimba, that's all they breathe, that instrument, and they're telling you that it was very interesting, so interesting. And and I'm like, is that a funny way of saying that my compositions are confusing? It's like, no. No, it was very beautiful, sublime experience, like that's really great, So maybe the person that was shaken, it was me.
Right.
I was shaken because it was more of like we need more people like you, and that's kind of like, I have no beef with it, and I think the beef is who gets to tell the narrative. It's like, why do we think that the canon for literature is William Shakespeare?
Right.
As well as acting. Why do we think that the best actors are British? Right? Well, who controls the narrative and who controlled the narrative for hundreds of years? If I'm British and I control the narrative, I am going to say that the best writing in the world is by William Shakespeare, right? And when you control the narrative, then you're going to have the best music is European, right? And everything else is world music. So I have beef with that. I think I wasn't understanding that before. Because when you meet musicians in an orchestra, they're the most delightful geeks that you're ever going to meet. Like these are not like who's
Yeah.
obnoxious? Fashion people. Fashion people. Ay, Dios mío. However, musicians in the orchestras, I found a very welcoming, gorgeous, it's like, yeah, like this, it's a band. It's like,
It's a
why are you going to
band.
be
That's
afraid
right.
of a
Yeah.
band? You know,
Yeah.
they're the band. So, and like once you click with your conductor, it's so nice to just have that rapport and like have that support, and like
Mhm.
after doing all those shows with orchestra, and then I was just me and Brandon, my baby daddy, playing live. I was like, I wish I had a conductor. I wish I had someone keeping my time, because it's lonely. So that's kind of where I'm at now with that. Like I've
Mhm.
come to terms with it's not the music itself, is whoever controls the narrative
Right.
that classical music, if you don't come from classical music or if you're not European, that it's not for you.
Yeah.
When all of these institutions, they need young people like me to take an interest and make it fun and make it hot and make it sexy and make it exciting and make it funny, because we need it. It's nice to be able to be in a band and like, oh, you think you can have one more violin? Yes. Can we have another piccolo? Yes. We have 100 of us. It's like, that's awesome. It's a lot of work for a lot of people.
Do you want to take us to a track from the album and maybe like tell us a little bit about the arc and where it fits in?
We could do El Dembow del Tiempo. It's interesting because when I first started writing the music, I didn't want to sing. I just wanted to compose the orchestra, no singing. And the choreographer, Andrea Miller, she heard the music and she's like, it's beautiful music, but where is your voice? And I was like, oh, no, I'm going to be in the audience. No, 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 no. You have to sing. You have to be on stage with the dancers. I'm like, oh, okay. So at this point in the composition, when I got to that part, right, by that time we were at like 15 minutes or 10 minutes. That's when I first start singing. And the first thing that I do when I open my mouth is I go, I just go nuts. And that's the first time you hear me. Once I revisited the music again, then I went back and then I did the overture. And the first melodic or main melodic note or movement was a trumpet, which we then doubled with my voice. And then I was like, you know what? My voice has to be in this part. So El Dembow del Tiempo, the only thing that I'm saying is, and now what? And now what? And I just say it and I explode more and more and more and more. And now what? And now what? And now what? And that's, I think it's a fun thing to know about that song.
El Dembow del Tiempo. My Spanish sounds horrible next to yours. We have Lido Pimienta here with us on SHEROES, and the fourth album is La Belleza. I saw somewhere in one of the press articles where you were wondering whether or not this album would still be categorized in the world category. And I was really happy to see that when it comes up on Apple Music, classical is the genre. So I thought,
Yeah.
okay, that's a small win, but it's a win.
It's a huge win. Just because I'm from the Caribbean, it doesn't mean that it can't be classical.
Mm-hmm.
Like, why not? It is. I'm using the rules. I'm using the tools, the instrumentation. I'm doing it like I'm supposed to do it so that it is classical. If I get nominated for anything, it would be amazing. As the classical, yeah, I want to participate.
I'm just thinking that there might be some folks listening to this interview that don't know you. So I want to make sure that we're not leaving those people out, Lido. Do you want to share a little bit about your journey? So to give this a little bit of context, like sitting in the mango tree, as I remember.
Totally. I mean, and it's interesting because this is the site. Yeah. This is the village where I wrote my first song, climbing on the mango tree. I'm a Caribbean woman, born and raised in Colombia, which is located in the north coast of Colombia. between a place called Barranquilla and a place called La Guajira that borders Venezuela. So lots of music, lots of influence, not only African and indigenous, but also British and USA. You know, I am a kid that grew up listening to, you know, metal and pop as much as I was listening to, you know, the canons of Afro-Colombian traditional music. And then I moved to Canada in my late teens, and I had MySpace to play around, to keep in touch with my friends, because back in Colombia, I was in a hip hop crew, a metal band. Actually, my first band was a hardcore band, and I was 13. So I've been performing since I was, actually, I feel like my first show was 11 years old, and it was a metal band, and everyone was older than I am now. You know, go figure how those things happen. But South America is very surreal. Thank God no one hurt me. But I was always exploring, and my instrument is my voice. So I always knew that what I had to say, it better be good, you know, because you're blessed with this voice and you can use it in many ways. After moving to Canada, I meet my baby daddy number one from the USA. We make an album together, and then it kind of becomes MySpace popular. And then I keep going, you know, exploring. I made this album called La Papesa that I did as music that would accompany like my thesis in university. And it was influenced by tarot cards and this tarot reading that a friend gave me, esoteric music that I learned how to make as my son, because that's another part of who I am. I am a mother. I became a mother very young, very young. And I wasn't with baby daddy number one at this point. So I would wait until my son would go to sleep and Google, how do you record yourself? And then that album that I recorded and learned how to do it with my friends and online and YouTube tutorials, it became one of Canada's most important albums without a label and not in English or in French, because those are Canada's quote unquote official languages. And I went on to win a Polaris Prize, which kind of put me on the map for whatever the pitchforks and Rolling Stones of it all. And then I came back with this album called Miss Colombia that also became this kind of popular, important album for me, my career. And then COVID hit. And then we couldn't tour, we couldn't bring the music to the people. And in that surrendering, I don't know, that's how I see it. COVID was the surrendering. I started writing with the intention of it being played with an orchestra. And then that became La Belleza, that is out now. So that's my journey, I think, as a mother, young mother, single mother, artist, visual artist, curator, curious, stubborn person that gets to sit at the table with a lot of people that I don't know why I'm here, but here I am. Happens all the time. And that's pretty much my journey. Like, I just want to make good art, and I want to put a roof over my children's heads, and I want to create a school. That's my obsession, with building a school in my territory in Colombia. You know, whoever is listening and you have a few dollars to spare, go to lidopimienta.com/shop and go and donate. There's these 2 schools that I want to create for, you know, Caribbean children and indigenous children from my territory and my people, the Wayu. So that's pretty much it. Like, I want to take care of my kids, and I want to help other mothers take care of their kids. And I make music that is not mainstream, but that the mainstream people really like. So they ask me to help them with their songs. And I resist the urge to become a meme. That's it. I resist the urge to become a viral meme. Let's see how long I can last.
Well, you're doing pretty amazing so far. And where do you find the time? I mean, honestly, like, you did all of this that we just talked about. You also put together that little Lido TV, that beautifully done series Lido TV. You make art and have art shows, and you're a mom. It's like wild to me.
It's, I have a calendar and I try to keep up with my calendar. I write things in. It's not just a digital calendar, but I physically write things. I also, eventually graduated to actually being with a good man, because baby daddy number 1, it did not work out. But baby daddy number 2, who's my musical partner, he's incredible. He's get yourself a feminist partner. Get yourself a man that is not a child, and you'll have time to do all the things that you're supposed to do as a human being, let alone as a woman, all the things that you want to accomplish. I give him a lot of credit because we've been able to raise our kids together. He became the father of my kid when the real father, couldn't take care of him, didn't want to take care of him, whatever his story, whatever his narrative. Still have to talk to the therapist about that one. But it's interesting when people ask me that all the time. You do so much, because I feel like I don't do enough.
Right.
I feel like I barely have time for all of the ideas and all the things that I want to do. But I do know that the things that I have been able to do is because I am a strict mother. I don't play no games with my kids. And I don't hit my kids. I don't scream at my kids. But we're very disciplined oriented, rules oriented, expectations oriented. We have lots of fun. Very loving, I spoil my kids rotten, but they have to earn it. And I feel like when I have to go on tour for 2 months, I'm able to leave my kids in the care of other people, and I have no complaints, because if my kids can't handle it, if the kids don't want it, then I can't do it. But the kids are okay with me making a living in this crazy way that I do. So, yeah.
You know what? I hate to keep bringing up our last conversation, but I did want to acknowledge that since the last time we talked, I've quoted you a lot in these conversations where I talk to many, many women that are touring musicians and mothers. And here's the idea for the podcast, maybe one of them. Lots have said that we need like a specific podcast about mothering and music. And I always bring you up because you're the first person that came to SHEROES and said, not only do women need to be paid the same, we need to be paid more.
Yeah.
Because we need to take care of our kids.
Yeah. I mean, and if you can't pay me more, provide the childcare. Provide the childcare and provide a space where my children can be safely. There's so many incredible artists who are women that I know that they couldn't keep up, or they released this incredible music, became mothers, and then they came back 10 years later. We know a few bands like that. And I just think that's so sad, because at the same time, more than men, we are expected to look fabulous and not age, which is why so many women who have incredible musical legacy and artistic legacy, they have the pressure of looking young, and they end up looking strange, unnatural, which, it's a vibe too. I think it's great sometimes when I see people and they take it over the edge with, their body modifications and stuff, especially in an era where transphobia is so rampant. I'm just kind of like, so everybody is getting a gender affirming surgery. It's not just trans folks.
Right.
But for me, I'm kind of like bringing life, which is one of the most revolutionary things that you can do. Let's be honest. Bringing children into the world, even for racist, radical, like quote unquote Christians that call themselves Christians, there's just, KKK disguised as God-loving, God-fearing people. They have 20 children. Right? There's a lot of like fundamental extremist religions where they see children as a weapon, right? And having more children, So in my case, it's like, it's one of the most revolutionary things that you can do, is to bring life into the world, but also raising empathetic, loving, common sense driven, individualistic, but also community people.
Yeah.
And that's a big job. has a huge job. So yeah, you got to pay me more. You got to pay me more. Because on top of that, we're artists. The role of the artist is to uplift spirit. How do you put a price on that? Well, then you go and you look online and okay, how much you have to pay a nanny? Then add a zero to it and give it to the artist.
Yeah.
So that women and people that take care of children don't have to pick, do I have a family or do I not have a family so that I can have a career, you know? And I also support women that say, I don't want kids. I want to put myself first. And that in itself is also revolutionary. When a woman or a person that can give birth decides, I don't want to have kids, period. And I think that is so admirable because the pressure is crazy. Like I had pressure to have kids when I was 15. And if by 20, 25, you don't have kids and you're not married, that's crazy, you know? And I think it's slowly changing now, and I'm very happy. And I love that I'm raising my daughter, basically telling her, don't have boyfriends. Don't waste your time. Like when she sees a man and a woman kissing, she's like, she's being conditioning. Because I just don't want her to fall in love with the idea of love in the way that we've been indoctrinated to believe that it's so, with the little Disney and the little movies, and you have to marry and be together forever. No, if it didn't work out, try it again. I believe in trying it again until you hit the jackpot or not. Live the experience, you know. But in the thing of children, it is very revolutionary to have children, especially in North America, especially women in the United States, the quote unquote richest country in the world, where women don't get a benefit. They don't get rewarded for their service of bringing a kid. That it's not just bringing the kid. For most women, that kid depends on you. You are their food source. And you're telling me that you're not going to pay women whether they work or not? It's just, I don't know. Capitalism hates women. Pretty much. They just hate women, you know. So, but again, these are the things that I talk about in my music. If you're listening to it, you're like, what is she talking about? This. Only very elite, top tier radio stations play my music.
Right. Exactly. Like this one.
Period.
Lido Pimienta is our guest today on SHEROES. The new album is called La Belleza. How about we play Mango?
Perfect. Great tune.
Yeah?
It's my porno.
It's your porno, totally.
Yeah. It's a porno disguised as a song that wants you to eat more mango. I got away with it.
I just had to go to the queerest song on the album.
Period. Because that's what it is. It's about enjoying pleasure in whichever body with whomever bodies that you want. And I just sing about, you know, the joy of sticking your teeth into a juicy ripe mango. And do as you want with the information that I'm providing in a world where there's no nuance about singing about sexual or sensual relationships. So that, for me, that was kind of like it would be nice to be more coy. When I listen to songs online, it would be nice to be coy. I don't want to be told exactly what you're doing in the song. You know what I'm saying? I love, you know, a gangster rap song where they're very, or reggaeton. I love reggaeton, and reggaeton songs are very explicit in their nature, in like the lyricism. It's very much, 90% is about how I'm going to stick it in, and then I'm going to stick it in with you in the balcony, and then in the balcony, I'm going to choke you, take you. It's like instructional, you know, it's like, let me be in my own fantasy. So for me, Mango is a response to that. Nuance is important.
Lido Pimienta is our guest today on SHEROES. The new album is called La Belleza. It's her 4th studio release, and that was Mango. Basically, every genre that you can think about, you've done. What have you seen since 13-year-old, 11-year-old Lido started performing and doing metal up to now being in this classical world from a gender perspective? Like, have you observed any differences as far as like gender balance goes?
I feel like there's more democracy for voices that want to put their art out there because of social media. There's a lack of curation, because that means that everybody can just do whatever and put it online. And that's pretty cool, especially when you don't have access to the money and then you just kind of figure it out on your own and you put it out there. But I still see the same. It's just the tropes are the same, you know? And actually, from metal to classical music, it's the same. It's just the speed. And maybe you just have someone growling on top of the classical music, but it's the same. You know, it's not that different. Like, it's actually not that crazy leap from listening to a band like Cradle of Filth, where like the progressions are so crazy and there's a lot of like tremolo. There's like a lot of going really fast. It's kind of the same, you know. But as far as like little Lido to older Lido, I just see the same. It's kind of like girlies want to be the girlies with their choreo. It's just whatever is trendy at the time. And I think like sexiness and being an instrument to the male gaze. The leap has gone from being an instrument to the male gaze in a male-dominated industry where the men write the songs for the women to women writing their own songs where they become instruments for that same parasite that we were trying to get away. So it's like it went from, no, I don't want a man to objectify me, to I'm objectifying myself, which there's something empowering about that. But I feel like we can push a little bit more so it doesn't sound the same. Because to me, it just sounds the same. It's just because I listen to really out-of-pocket music. I don't listen to a lot of trendy stuff. But when something trendy catches my ear, it's awesome. So I don't know how much we've evolved. I also feel like, I don't know, we were just playing some festival and it's funny, even like the dressing rooms for the artists. It's just so funny, you know, like how much time you have to perform. And I'm kind of like, if you're not Bad Bunny or Beyonce, you're nobody. It's kind of what I think. I'm focusing on women because that's what I am. But like, I feel like if you would just take that realization, like you're never going to be Beyonce and you're not Bad Bunny, to just relax and make music that comes from the heart, the competition wouldn't be so stiff and the competition wouldn't be so insane. And the levels of pressure to become this like perfect little fairy looking person that doesn't even look real in real life because of all the body shaming and the body pressures and looking perfect, and you can't age and you can't have wrinkles and you can't have white hair and you can. I feel like that would be really good, but I don't see anything changing. Like, I mean, Britney sacrificed her mental health so that the girlies in the pop world now would have more support, you know? So hopefully there's no more sacrifices like her, you know?
Yeah.
And what's interesting to me is that Britney's still number one. No one beats her, you know? But that's the thing, is like she's a visionary, you know? So what would happen if you get a pop girly with the support? What happens when you give her the support to be that? Yes, butterflies and everything, pink, everything. I love it. But she needed more support, you know? So that's pretty much it. Like, I don't know how much we've changed. I think that music is way more interesting now because kids, like immigrant kids that are second or third generation living in Europe and the United States, or like the empires of the world, because of their dual citizenships or dual cultures, they're making really interesting music. And that's not necessarily like the mainstream music that we listen to, but for us who are digging the underground, it's really exciting. That's where the future of music, to me, that's where it is. All the mainstream, it's boring. You know, it's entertaining. It's funny gossip. Oh, look, Jeff Bezos is paying people to be his friends. Isn't that interesting, you know? But below all of that, oligarch, unlovable people, because to me, everyone that went to that wedding, they're unlovable, ugly, unlovable people. Underneath all of that, there's real art and real hope.
Yeah.
And that's where Lido Pimienta exists. That's where I exist. And that's where I want to continue to thrive, you know, because I don't need anything. I don't need anybody. just my own imagination and to be allowed to do what I do, you know. And while I'm allowed to do it, I'm going to do it because people like me, we're not welcome in a lot of those spaces. So that's my challenge. You know, so how do I continue to be a voice without being shut down, you know?
Do you feel like your relationship to being a quote unquote woman in music has changed?
You know, I think that I strive to become Enya. I want to be an hologram. I want to exist in the ether.
Yeah.
I want to be like a voice. I want people to like say my name 3 times in front of a mirror and then my music starts playing. Like, that's what I want. I want to be iconic. So in this thing of women in music, I don't care. Because the moment that you allow yourself to be categorized, that's all that you'll be allowed to be.
Yep.
And I already have to struggle with like, from Colombia, and she's going to make us dance. And I'm like, well, I'm trying to make everybody cry. And that's exactly what's going to happen at the end of the show. Because I'm not a little monkey, little Caribbean little trope with her little papayas on her breast. That's not me. And that's never going to be me. It's never going to be me, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So in this thing of women in music, it's important that women in music exist, you know? But we are here and there's more of us. So I want to push it more. I want to be holograms in music, bad in music, mothers in music, you know, like I'm just like, I'm mother. That's what I am. I am a mother. I am a mother. That's it. That's all I want to be.
Lido, it's been so awesome to have you here. Our last question of the hour is a wish, actually. And once you're holding the wand, you got it?
I got it.
Okay. I need a sound effect for the wand. I'm going to work on that. Now that you have the wand, you have the power to change anything in the music industry for women, non-binary folks, queer folks, BIPOC folks, anyone whose voice is still not given an equal, say, platform. What would you change? First wave of the wand.
That they ignore the institution and go their own way. Stop fighting for a spot where they don't want you and get together with your friends and create your own. Don't sign any contracts. Don't believe anyone in the industry if they have a suit or a high position. Don't sign anything. Create your own platform. That's what I want. That's my wish.
I love it. May it be so. Lido, thank you for being with us. What song should we go out with today from La Belleza?
Busca la luz, sé la luz. Busca la luz. Find the light, be the light.
The tearjerker.
Yes.
With thanks once again to Lido Pimienta. Thank you for being with us on SHEROES. Congratulations on this incredible new chapter.
Thank you. See you soon.
Massive thanks to Lido Pimienta for joining us. La Belleza is out now on Anti Records. SHEROES is produced by me, is mixed and mastered by Kelly Drake. Our original theme music is by Lucius. SHEROES is also a nationally syndicated radio show. Please visit SHEROESradio.com to find out more. Keep in touch on Instagram and Twitter at SHEROES Radio, and please consider leaving us a rating and review wherever you listen to podcasts. That helps us grow and bring you more SHEROES. Until next time, remember, music is our superpower. I'm Carmel Holt. Thanks for listening. SHEROES is proud to present The Road to Joni, celebrating the legacy and impact of Joni Mitchell. Subscribe now to The Road to Joni, distributed by Talkhouse and available wherever you get your podcasts.